Yes, we can to opportunity.
When there's a bill that ends up on my desk as president, you, the public, will have 5 days to look online and find out what's in it before I sign it.
And together, we will begin the next great chapter in the American story.
Look at Mr. Obama's campaign promises and what really happened. Nice to see you, John. What'd you find?
What I found was first year in office, he proposed cap and trade. That would be a fat tax on everyone. He increased the cigarette tax. And now we have that proposed tax on fancy health care benefits. During the campaign, he criticized John McCain for even suggesting that.
For the first time in American history, John McCain wants to tax your health care benefits.
But now that Obama's in office, he likes the idea.
And this reform will charge insurance companies a fee for their most expensive policies.
Then there was his no earmark pledge.
We are going to ban all earmarks.
Yet the first spending bill he signed had more than 9,000 earmarks.
There you go.
Obama criticized his opponent for wanting to force people to get health insurance.
She believes that we have to force people who don't have health insurance to buy it.
But a year later...
And that's why under my plan, individuals will be required to carry basic health insurance.
How about the promise of transparency?
When there's a bill that ends up on my desk as president, you, the public, will have 5 days to look online and find out what's in it before I sign it.
If you looked on the internet for bills like the Fair Pay Act and the Credit Card Bill of Rights, 5 days before they were signed, you wouldn't find them.
And have you watched C-SPAN to see those health care negotiations that he said would be public?
What I've done throughout this campaign is to propose a net spending cut.
A spending cut? Give me a break. Look how sharply the line rose after Obama took office. Spending increased $2 trillion this year, more than any year in history.
How dare they? President Obama, Democratic leaders have decided to bypass a formal House and Senate conference committee in order to reconcile those two health care bills. Instead, White House and Democratic leaders will hold informal, that's another word for secret, negotiations, meant to shut Republicans and the public out of the process. What a far cry from the election, when then-candidate Obama pledged to, quote, broadcast health care negotiations on C-SPAN so that the American people can see what the choices are, unquote. President Obama hasn't even made a token effort to keep his campaign promises of more openness and transparency in government. It was all just another lie that was told in order to get elected. The head of C-SPAN wrote a letter, asked Congress to, quote, open all the important negotiations, including any conference committee meetings, to electronic media coverage, unquote. When White House Press Secretary Robert Gibbs was asked whether the administration would support televising the negotiations, he refused to answer, instead mumbling something about, well, I haven't seen the letter. That wasn't the question, Mr. Gibbs. You either support openness or you don't. The Democrats insist this is all on the up and up, with House Speaker Nancy Pelosi saying, quote, there's never been a more open process for any legislation, unquote. Really? This is the same Nancy Pelosi who, you may recall, after becoming Speaker in 2006, promised the Democrats would have, quote, the most honest, most open, and most ethical Congress in history, unquote. Here's hoping the voters remember some of this crap when the midterm elections roll around later this year.